have another creepy story about Epping Forest. This was sent to me by two best friends who went on a ghost tour in Epping Forest. This girl that messaged me, she said she's been on loads before and none of them has been as scary as Epping Forest. Said that a number of unexplainable and terrifying things happened that night. The tour guide leads them into the forest and he's the only one that's allowed to have his torch. So he's shining his torch everywhere, kind of guiding the troops along. And then they are told to hold on to the person in front of them. She said as soon as they went into the forest, they were aware of like a humming noise and it sounded like a man humming along to a song. Immediately her and her friend, they're kind of giggling to themselves thinking this is why we're not allowed our phones, because obviously the tour guide has arranged for somebody else to be in the forest humming and that's what that noise is. But the tour himself seemed to be unnerved by this and she's not sure that he could have put that on. He seemed genuinely scared. She said the second thing that happened was an older lady that was towards the back of the group said she felt as if somebody had grabbed her head and she fully screamed, which causes the whole group to turn around to her, and obviously everybody had their hands on the person in front of them, so nobody would have had like a free hand to grab her head. And when all of this happened, the tour guide, he actually stopped the tour and he got his light and he was shining it around and he was calling out just to see if anybody was actually there. And again, he looked kind of distraught himself. He looked as if he was scared. She said the atmosphere felt really tense and uncomfortable, and the whole time they were there, they were questioning why did they come. People in their group started to cry and say that they felt sick, complain of headaches and ask if they could leave early. The tour guide was really reluctant about letting them leave, but eventually he said, if you think that you can find your way back, then you are free to leave. Finally, the last straw for the ladies was a giggling noise, and then they too decide that they want to turn around and go back. On the way out of the forest, they start to realise that they don't know where they are and they do start to panic. They are bickering amongst themselves about which way it is. One thinks it's left, one thinks it's right. At this point, they run into another couple, and so instinctively the girls just start to follow on with this other couple because at least they're with a guy. They're thinking they'll be more safe that way if anything does happen, if the man that was humming comes back. As they're passing the same part where that lady earlier in the day had had her head grabbed, they both feel very tense because they're wondering if this paid actor is still there and could still potentially grab them. They pass through, they do indeed get touched by some sort of hand, which again, they just assume is a paid actor. They both scream and they grab onto the person in front of them just as they've been told to do. They make it back safe to the car park and they are looking around to see where the rest of the people are, and slowly one by one people start to come back to that car park apart from the couple that they had followed out. They ask the tour guide where the last couple is. He says, what do you mean? Everyone's here. There's 16 of us. There only ever was 16 of us. Tell the tour guide about their experience following this couple out and also about the fact that they'd been touched by some sort of hand, and he tells them explicitly no, certainly nobody paid to touch people on the tour. The women cannot explain who the couple were that they followed out. Were they just a random couple that decided to join on to a random ghost tour in the middle of the night at Epping Forest? Or were they an apparition, a ghost? Or something scarier. If you have a scary story that you would like me to tell, then please email it to me. I haven't had very scary ones recently, that's why I haven't been telling any. I know a lot of you have been waiting for them, but I don't want to be scared, I want to be petrified. Any of you nutnuts actually going to work and then using your hard-earned cash to go on a ghost tour in Epping Forest, you deserve the experience that you get. I'm glad you got your money's worth. But what have we learned? What have we learned from these stories? I feel you've learned nothing to go on a ghost tour in Epping Forest.